A sandwich walks into a bar, but the bartender says, "We don't serve food here." What's going on, YouTube? We are here at Filer Ul inside the Infinite Archive, inside Apocrypha, outside the Plane of Existence. And as always, this is a free-to-play zone where we talk about this vendor because he not only has antiquity leads as well as some other cool stuff, but he now has some new items. Let's start from the beginning. We start off with the preparation surface, which goes to the Dradetic provisioning station. However, all of the leads for this one can be picked up from the overworld. You pick this one up right here. Don't buy this one, obviously. If you can pick it up from the overworld, don't buy it with your archival fortunes, especially because we got new items that you might be able to buy with your archival fortunes. Second item we have is the reinforced clasped anchor, which also is a little bit better. It's not from just picking it up in the overworld. It comes from Blackwood inside the public dungeons, as the bosses being the most likely areas to drop. When we look at which leads you should get for your archival fortunes, we always think to ourselves, what's a better use of our time, farming the Infinite Archive or just getting the lead outright? And is the payoff for the mythic itself worth it? Shapeshifter's Chain, perfectly good, serviceable mythic if you are a werewolf. However, not all of you are going to be werewolves, and if you are, doing a public dungeon inside of Blackwood is a good use of your time because Blackwood has good sets that sell. You might want to use them for yourself and so on. So to me, not a good use of your archival fortunes, but if you want to go get the Shapeshifter's Chain, and if you want to run a public dungeon for money, fragments, and potentially some good sets, Blackwood's actually a pretty good one to do that in. The next item is the bound style page for the Ice Heart Shoulder. They look pretty cool, but they're actually relatively cheap. They've been around for a while. This would be something that if you purchased with your archival fortunes that you would not be able to resell it. So basically the only money that you're getting from this is the money that you're saving. So overall, generally not worth it. Then next we have Shadowfen treasure maps. Now Shadowfen is a perfectly fine zone when it comes to the sets there, but if you're going to try to convert your archival fortunes to gold, you're probably not going to use these treasure maps because there's no real good ancestral styles. There's no good furnishing plans that you could hope for. Your odds of you getting anything decent is pretty low. So overall, you're probably not going to get the Shadowfen treasure maps, but the sets there are better than people do give them credit for. The Hiss set, pretty good, but overall, not worth it. Companion gear weapons is a good gamble, potentially, if you want to kind of go out there, because the weapons are generally the most valuable pieces of companion gear with very few exceptions. So if you want to gamble, this is a big gamble. Why is it a big gamble? Because the odds of you getting both a weapon and a trait that you need is relatively low. Whereas at least if you're buying like companion heavy equipment, at least you might get the trait. If you get the trait that you want, you're good, because you're guaranteed to get an armor piece that you would need. But if you get, say, for example, a tanking piece on a restoration staff, well, that's no good. Versus if you get a tanking piece on a piece of heavy armor, you're at least guaranteed to have a piece of heavy armor, if that makes sense. Same with jewelry. That's why I think jewelry is a better gamble, because you're going to need a ring or necklace. You might not need a two-hander, a frost staff, etc. So this is the biggest gamble, but it's got the biggest reward, because guess what? These are also worth the most. But 5,000 archival fortunes, you better really trust your gambling skills. Then we have our furnishing books, which admittedly do look pretty cool. The Necrom, the History of the City of the Dead, is pretty cool that it's open. I don't generally suggest these, but then that brings us to script. Now, this is where it becomes tricky because we have ourselves scripts that you could potentially purchase here with archival fortunes that will require you to go out and complete different things. However, also quick note from yesterday's video, if you've already completed the scribing storyline, you do not have to recomplete it fully on an alternate character. You can do, I believe, 1 or 1.5 quests and it will fully unlock itself. So good news for everybody there. However, when it comes to these scripts, it's really hard to know where a lot of you guys sit because, for example, I think Defile is pretty decent, but also it's for a pretty specific type of content. Generally, if you're going to defile somebody, you're doing it from a PvP perspective. PvE defiling is, just not very helpful. Same with converting things to frost damage. I think that's fine, but it's also niche. Same with the Anchorite potency. I think that's fine, but also niche. So I pulled up what people were considering a top 10 scripts, and going off of if any of these were in anybody's top 10s, and none of them were. But I will need you guys in the comments below to let me know what you're looking out for. And it could be you're not looking out for anything specific, and I'll try to hype up why I think some of these are decent. For example, the frost damage one, pretty obvious. Frost damage can then be converted. You know, you can convert your abilities to frost damage, some of them, and then you could build that into a frost damage ward. You know, you could become Mr. Freeze. Now you've got more frost damage on abilities that you wouldn't be able to do frost damage on before. Anchorite's potency is a bit weird. Added a soul gem to grant ultimate effect to a scribe skill when written to a grimoire. Certainly unique. Unfortunately, a lot of people weren't really hyping this one up, so I don't think it's worth doing. Maybe because people, you know, economically just don't want to carry 1,000 soul gems on them. I don't truthfully know, but we're going to have to continue to experiment with this scribing system as we go along. But overall, I can say you could probably skip these unless you're like, I really, really want to build a Frost Warden right away, or I've got something picked out immediately for a Defile build for PvP, and I'm ready to rip and rear with it. Let's go. And if that's the case, then these might be decent for you. What is not for you, however, is the big-eared kitten tag, because you can buy this with gold off of people by just going into a public dungeon yourself. Again, your first fragment each day from a different public dungeon, so you can do multiple, is a lot higher. So you go there, get the fragment, move on. Your odds of doing that pretty good. Don't buy this. This is probably realistically only worth 10 to 20,000 gold. You'd be better off buying Shadowfen treasure maps at that point if you're trying to make gold. Then we have our Skeever pet, which we've talked about so many times. It's a Skeever pet. It's not worth it. Then we've got our clue. I actually have this clue. A lot of you guys have said, Jake, I'm buying the clues. I don't want to have to farm Tales of Tribute. All I want to do is be a completionist and have it done. If that's your prerogative, I will not stand in your way to continue that prerogative. But for me, I would not suggest that you purchase these. With the new changes to Tales of Tribute rewards, adding a little bit of more juice to them, I think that you can play a couple games, because you're going to have to play a couple games anyway to get the achievements. You might as well just do that. But again, it's your archival fortunes. It's your money. Do what you want. But everyone, that's going to wrap up the video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. What scripts are you going to be looking for? Because I did tons of research to see if any of these were in the top 10, and it becomes very unique. And I want to know, do you guys want me to cover them? Do you guys just want me to say if they're good or bad? Do you want me to try to cover what their potential purposes could be? Let me know in the comments below. This is obviously very new to me as a console player, because, well, we're recording this on our lunch break, and it's only been out for 2 hours, and I've had about 10 minutes to experiment with the Gold Road. So it's very new still. So let me know again, comments below. As always, we're doing our 3 giveaway drawings. All you have to do to enter is leave a comment in the comments below. Then we pull a random winner from our YouTube subscribers / Twitch followers / Twitter followers. All of the links down below if you don't mind following on those bad boys. Third thing is a random code be flashed upon the screen. If you're the first person to comment that word, you will win a gift card of your choosing. Put that in the comments below. There'll be a slight audio cue, because you guys say sometimes you're listening while you're doing other things, so there'll be a little bit of a tingle here you can listen out for. But thank you guys so much again for watching. Happy Tuesday, happy Gold Road Day. Look forward to the Zeals of Zenthar, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye, guys.
You better remember to like and subscribe to Jakeclips. Or you should. I might have to pluck your eyes if you don't. Or, better yet, I'll skip rope with your entrails. Do it now. Subscribe. Ta-ta. Off with you.